Hello everybody and welcome back to Victoria, where we are currently working our way through bulking up our military a little bit so that we can attack Paraguay. We definitely want to get access to their GDP and their population. That would be very, very good for us. So we're certainly going to work towards that. We're also working on bulking up our power to be able to attack Chile. I think that would be a very, very, very good thing for us to be able to do. Right now, we're not really able to do that. We need to finish up our lead mines, munition plants, and all of these barracks, and ideally that arms industry as well, before we can really get that good to go. There's our law enforcement, national supremacy going up. Okay, so our law advancement, not enforcement. Fantastic. So our odds of enacting national supremacy went up by 10%. Cool. That's absolutely fine, and we're very happy about that. Mechanized workshops finishing up. For textile mills, furniture manufactories, vacuum canning, and shift work. Okay. So that doesn't really help us all that much. More tools, more wood. Okay. I mean, that won't help our tools situation, but maybe it'll make it more likely that we need to go over here to mechanized looms, I believe. Maybe that'll make it a little bit more likely to hire in. That would be nice. I'm going to switch over to the ammonia soda process just to make that go away. There we go. We can't actually make this be publicly traded for the moment, so that looks fine. We can't make that be publicly traded either. For our arms industries, we should definitely go down to rifles and smooth bores, and that can be publicly traded. For munitions plants, we will do explosive shells. There we go. And we'll see how that ends up going. More bureaucracy would not be bad here. That would actually mean that we can cancel this government administration. We're still going to have pretty major paper mills problems, I'm pretty sure. Checking in here, that looks fine. Okay. And I'm expecting us to have some issues here. Paper, coal, tools, I expect to all be rough. Let's see how that goes. But I definitely expect some issues. We see that we're quite negative financially. That's fine. So this lead mine is going to finish up eventually. This munition plant is going to be in 26 weeks. Sulfur input goods shortage, but that's normal. Not shocked about that one. A good vintage, huh? Let's get building wine output. Cool. That will help offset our issues here a little bit. Our GDP is dipping, and I'm not super shocked about that one. It seems fairly normal to me. So our population is 1.4 million right now. We definitely need to bring that up. Annexing Paraguay would be a big, big step in that regard. So we'll get this lead mine done. And this munitions plant is going to be a little while after that. But we are working on our barracks simultaneously. So realistically, I don't think this is going to be too bad. This is saying 60 weeks to our arms industry. I'm not sure that that's actually straight up true. Yeah, tools are expensive, paper is expensive. Only coal is running the input goods shortage. I'm actually surprised that that's going that well. And yeah, this colony is still growing here. Now, if I recall correctly, we did want to do something with our bureaucracy. I can't remember what it was for the life of me, but here we are. So we're going to continue to work through here. National supremacy is hopefully going to be enacted here soon, but we'll see. And our GDP is a bit down right now, primarily, I think, due to the cost of tools. So if we look at our tooling workshops here, actually, we still need to balance this. So steel and coal are still the primary issues. Mostly coal, I feel like. It all comes back to that coal price. Which is kind of a vicious cycle. Interesting. Socialism has just been unlocked. Now, that doesn't actually mean that we can institute any of those institutions, right? We can't do that. Oh, that's right. We wanted to increase our colonial affairs. Okay, there we go. So that'll be fine. We'll bring that on up. And next up, now that socialism has been unlocked, we likely want to go towards international exchange standards for additional minting. That's what I'm leaning towards. Yeah, I think that's where we go. Additional minting would be good. We are running a negative balance right now, and we're going to for a while here, I think. So that's okay. There's apparently a revolution here going on to go to 66 for right of assembly. Well, that's not too frightening, to be honest. At this moment, that radicalism isn't a problem. Eventually, it may become a problem, but for now, it isn't one. And how are we doing on those barracks constructions? Well, they're a ways away yet. So we're showing 50 weeks until our arms industry is done at this point. We're probably going to declare this before the arms industry is finished, to be honest. I just want to look at Paraguay here. Army power projection currently of 90. Now, ours is artificially lowered. Only 11. That's to be expected for the moment. Okay, so these munition plants are going to be done soon. Steel input goods shortage is unsurprising. So if we look at our actual steel production here, it all comes back to coal. That's what it all comes back to. Standard of living here is starving? Now, why would that be? Why indeed? What is going on in Mendoza? Why is their standard of living this low? That explains a lot of what's going on here. The mortality is really high. There's migration out of here as well. So what's going on with the standard of living here? Well, for one thing, the turmoil is super high. They don't have unemployment going on. I mean, wages are pretty low. Indeed. Wages are, in fact, very low there. Interesting. A popular playwright has encouraged reform. Permanently plus 20 prestige. No, I want to get this reform done. So let's finish up this munitions plant. The things in Mendoza are not going well. And I think this is the cause of our standard of living being so low. There's a little bit going on up here as well. So that's certainly noted. Okay, so why is the standard of living so low here? Encourage resource industry, sure. Prices are very high, but wages are very, very low right now. Average needed wage to sustain wealth. Wages are decreasing. Okay. That's very interesting. I'm not sure what's going on there exactly. But that is clearly part of the problem. Maybe not just part of the problem. That is clearly a big part of the problem. Like, this standard of living is super low. And what is contributing to that? They'll become more radical over time. They pay an average of 26% of their income in taxes, reducing their available money for pop needs. And they also pay an average of plus 54.5% compared to base price. Okay, fair enough. Mostly for grain and meat. So we need to lower the food cost then. I think that's the primary issue here. So we can definitely do that. We can head over here and we can boost up a wheat farm. And then head over... I know we have some animal farms somewhere. Coffee plantations, dye, tobacco. Did we already build them? Perhaps. We could queue up new ones. So, livestock ranches. In Patagonia. And I'll queue up one at the top. So we'll get that done. That appears to be the primary issue, is that we need to get additional food production in here. Which is interesting that it wasn't actually showing in here. That's very interesting indeed. Now, we haven't passed national supremacy just yet. But we definitely want to get these ranches done. And that is going to delay our military ambitions by a little bit. But there's not a lot we can do about that, to be honest. That pretty much is what it is. So, back to the first page here. I would like to get these arms industries building immediately following this wheat farm. And then we'll work on these barracks in the background for the time being. So the livestock ranches will be done in 1 more week here. Cool. And that will help. That'll drop the price of food. So that should help matters somewhat. That won't fix it. But that will help matters. 58.3%. Okay, cool. And we're hoping that livestock ranch, which also uses grain, noted. We should probably move up a second wheat farm in that case. Something like this. Okay, we'll get that underway. And both of these wheat farms are going to finish up at about the same time. Cool. So this livestock ranch is working on getting employment here. But it mostly needs wheat. So we'll get that underway. Those will be done in 5 weeks. Actually, yeah, 5 weeks. Cool. And hopefully, our standard of living over here, particularly, will start to improve. That would be nice. Indeed, that would be nice. We'll see what ends up happening with that. Cool. So what else are they spending their money on? So those were the 2 biggest, right? But those were by no means the only things that were expensive. Tobacco, fabric, clothes. A lot of these we're actually running taxes on. Consumption taxes. So we have a consumption tax on tobacco. We could theoretically ditch that. We could remove all of our consumption taxes. That'll put us a little bit more negative here. And now, if we come in here, 24.5% of their income in taxes. Will that update once a week tick goes by? Oh, national supremacy worked. I like it. 25.1. So that did drop. We're spending our gold reserves right now. That's expected. And they want to enact right of assembly. For the moment, they're just chilling here. And our number of radicals is beginning to drop as our additional food is coming online and as those taxes are going away. So our standard of living should start to recover somewhat over here. But it's very low. I mean, honestly, I don't see how I can fundamentally lower their taxes that much more. I mean, we are paying a per capita tax. We'll go down to very low taxes. And now we functionally can't lower taxes more. So with that being the case, we go in here. 18.4% of their income. So they just need more income, is what that boils down to. Enact wage subsidies. Actually, yes. We'll work on that. And it might take a while to get that in place. This barrack is going to finish up here. We've got a number more of these to go. Now, we're quite negative on our finances at this moment, where you've got a lead, a coal, and a sulfur input goods shortage. That's not surprising. And we're hoping that this food starts to recover a bit. So looking at these wheat farms, actually, that's going pretty well. That is indeed going pretty well. I like it. So that's working nicely. We're going to be done with our arms industry in 17 weeks. Do we declare this war now? Just as a, like, method of saving our economy. It's a possibility, in theory. I wanted to check in here. This will give us wage subsidies, which will give us a social security institution. And that's not going to... Well, that'll give us a baseline. It's not going to fix our mortality issues. That's for sure. But we'll work on that for now. We definitely do need to get our wages up. I think there's no doubt about that. Particularly in these two locations here, where the standard of living is very, very low. That needs to get improved. And we're working on bringing that up. I think it's just wages that they need. I mean, expanding our production of these things wouldn't be bad. That's for sure. But for the time being, we need to get Paraguay eliminated. I keep coming back to this. So they have an army power projection of 90. Our current army power projection is 12. Of course, we're going to fix that. We're 13 weeks until our arms industries here are done. Our colonial affairs investment has increased, so we're colonizing faster down this way now. This is good. Now, what are we primarily spending our money on? Construction. We would actually still be positive if we weren't constructing. So that's a good sign. We can deficit spend here for a little while. But yeah, we can see our GDP is kind of spiraling at this moment. And that is mostly due to, I think it's the standard of living issues over here. This is causing people to leave these areas, which is meaning that our coal mines, which we rely a lot on, are basically not outputting anything. Their wages are super, super low. Thing is, if we can increase the cost of coal, or rather decrease the cost of coal, that will decrease the cost of both tools and explosives. We should subsidize this structure at this time. That would go a long ways towards fixing this, I think. Coal is the underlying issue here. So let's get that done and see if that subsidization... Yeah, our standard of living is recovering here rapidly. Now, we're quite negative in our finances right now. That subsidy is very expensive. We can't afford this forever. But we do need to get this spiral under control here. The price of coal is currently quite low. But we are seeing input goods shortages of coal here still. So we can see that... What is the overall price of coal right now? We have an input goods shortage. The price is still maximum. Okay. Noted. So we need to continue to run this for a little bit here. Now, our arms industry is about to be completed. Opposition members have put forth demands. Let's see. Crossbench support giving us 15% enactment success chance. I like it. Do it. Okay, so that'll be fine. And the standard of living here is definitely coming up. Same with this. I'm surprised this standard of living is coming up, actually. Considering we don't have a coal mine there. But I guess these things also rely on the cost of coal. So as coal recovers its production, as our coal production recovers, this is saying minus 56.1% in Mendoza. So that's just not getting elsewhere. And I'm guessing that's because the market access here is low. Yes. Market access in Mendoza is at 12%. There's no one working in the railway. And that's a big part of that problem. We just need people more than anything. We'll subsidize this railway. But this isn't going to be great. I'm not sure at this point if we even have people to hire here. Yeah, there's nobody here at this moment. So everybody is pretty much employed by the coal mine. We're going to stop subsidizing the coal mine for the moment and try to bring this market access up. We need to handle the market access, and overall, I'm actually going to go into our buildings and we're going to subsidize all railways at this point. So we subsidize all railways, and that should help our market access. In theory. We'll keep an eye on this. Yep, that is improving. And our balance is actually a little bit better than it was previously as well. So getting that problem solved is a big deal. Now, we have finished up our military expansion. I feel like we're not in a great position to attack Paraguay anymore. Just because financially, we're not really there. We definitely do need to get this market access up. And we're working on that. Our economy is currently considered unhealthy. You don't say. We're working on it. So market access in Mendoza is still low. The core issue here, I do believe, is the market access. So we need to get that done. And this railway is currently at 2.7K. Checking in here, 44 out of 16. Okay, how much does each level of railway currently produce? 15 infrastructure. So, we know that we need 2 levels of railway in Mendoza. Let's check the rest of these. Buenos Aires is at 85%. I think this is going to be okay. Yeah, that should be fine. And then this up over here is at 30 of 19. I believe we need 1 more level of railway up here. So we'll get that queued up at the beginning of the queue. Those railways are going to take a while to construct, and they're going to be expensive. But we are seeing our GDP begin to recover here. We're running some input goods shortages, but it is what it is. We need people more than anything. And these subsidies are eating our lunch. There's no doubt about that. Honestly, at this point, bumping taxes back up is not a bad plan. So going up to here, because now at least these guys have jobs and market access, right? In theory, anyway. So we'll let that go, and we're going to complete our railways over here in the eventual times. GDP is continuing to dip away right now, but our market access is much better. So that's good. Our core problem there was, in fact, the market access. I had let that slip for too long. Of course, we really need people out over here. And the population is still migrating away. And the birth rate is lower than the mortality. So that needs to be worked on. But we are definitely working on bringing up that standard of living. And the number of radicals is dropping as well. We may have to deficit spend here for a little while. I'm not going to build anything right now other than these railways. Public address goes awry, huh? Minus 15% enactment chance or minus 10%? Yikes. Well, I don't love that. Wage subsidies would be good. We may end up having to abort this, though. Which would not be great. That GDP is still slipping down, but we do need to get this market access a bit more under control. It's better. To be sure, it's better. But it's not quite where it needs to be yet. We are getting these colonizations done. We're up to 1.42 million population at this time. And I would definitely love to attack Paraguay, but we are not in a position to do so. So we're going to wrap up this railway construction here. Another 7 weeks on that. And then, of course, we're going to be working on our railway constructions down here. But there's only so much that we can do there. The price of engines is very, very high. We should probably consider bumping up a motor industry, although that's reliant on both coal and steel. We have a steel input goods shortage right now, so we should bump up our steel mill, which itself has a coal input goods shortage. And then over here, we should bump up our motor industry, not in that order. It should be steel mills down here, and then the motor industry. Something like, maybe like this. Okay, ironclads have been done. That's nice. So now we're starting to build up debt. We've spent down all of that money. And we are currently positive in our balance when we turn off our construction. So that's a good sign. Our economy is on the upswing now. So that's good. We have an explosives input good shortage. There's not a lot we can do about that at this moment, to be honest. Our chemical plants, they are what they are. We need people to operate them, after all. The Buenos Aires insurrection. Slaves have risen up. Well, we could try to defuse that. There's not that many slave pops, to be honest. We tried to free them, but we did fail on that, politically. Which is sad. But we did finish up our railroad over here now. So in theory, that was the lead mine. I wanted the railroad. In theory, this should get reasonably decent. In terms of its, this is the iron mine. I wanted this. There we go. In terms of its infrastructure, that should be good. Okay. So that's fine for now. The real question that I have at this moment is, can we get this market access up? It's only Mendoza that has the market access issues right now. And Mendoza is, to be honest, where we need it the most. So getting this railway done in 12 weeks will be good. But it is time to put a cut in here. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And next episode, we will see about nipping this particular crisis in the bud and getting it turned around. And hopefully attacking Paraguay fairly soon. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including Casserole, ALS Gamer, Kentuin, James, Shadowwolf, Mlohan80, Kentogan, Spartan News, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, Unisol, Kadra, Rogue Corvid, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.